Hi everyone! In this lesson on chromatic notation, you will learn how accidentals work, which notes are affected by accidentals, and for how long. In a previous lesson, you learned that accidentals are symbols that temporarily raise or lower a note by a half step. The rule for accidentals is that they affect every note on the same line or space until the end of the measure. If we add a sharp sign to the first note of this measure, it affects all the notes on that same line, and no other notes. In the next measure, the notes return to their natural state. If we wanted to make them sharp, we must add another sharp sign. If we wanted to make the last note of that measure natural, we would have to add a natural sign. Flats work the same way. When we add a flat to the first note, it affects all the notes on that same line. If we add a natural to the second note, it affects all the remaining notes. In order to make the last note flat again, we would have to add another flat symbol. This rule also applies to notes that have the same note name but are on a different octave. The accidental, again, affects every note on that line or space until the end of the measure. When we add a sharp to the first note, the other notes in this measure do not become sharp, even though they have the same note name, and that's because they are on a different line or space. If we want the other notes in the first measure to become sharp, we must add another sharp sign. When we add a flat to the first note of the second measure, all of the notes on that same line become flat, but not any other notes, even if they have the same note name. In order to make the top note flat, we would have to add another flat. In order to make the last note natural, we'd have to add another natural sign. Now read lesson 7.2 in your workbook and complete the workbook exercises for this lesson. In your next lesson, you will learn about how to write chromatic scales on the staff. My name is Christopher Selby. Thank you for watching this tutorial for music theory for the successful string musician.